Ready when you are.
Hey guys, welcome to AJ's Game Design Corner episode 3. And yeah, 3.
Yeah.
We wanted to wait until we get the actual new faces in, because as we told you, we're going back and forth with China. We're getting the faces just right. They didn't have certain AI files for sort of like the eye features. So they kind of created their own versions of it. Some of them were good, some of them were not. So we've got the corrected version of those. We've got the last wave of miniatures, meaning we have all miniatures, right? So let's go ahead.
One's over there,
and one's over there, one's over here,
and
revise, because it's a constant process back and forth getting these things exactly right for you guys. So come on in here, Joe. We already did these last time. If you want to see the details on these and the notes on these are from the last video. I have not yet received the second wave of the corrections on those, but we're going to go ahead and go with these now. So let's go ahead and start with Armika. Armika is a fantastic sculpt. For her face, don't look at Armika's face. The corrected faces are on the core ones. But as you can see, I just love her special effect. Her special effects got some great color. She's got some great detail on her costume. This is a famous pose that we have. She's calling out her opponent. She's got the mic. She's very loud on there. And then you've got a really cool wrestling logo on her bait. So she's basically on the mat. So Armika's looking really, really good. And we can make some improvements to her face, obviously. So that's what we're fixing to do. All right, so that's Armika. Blanca. Oh my God. Blanca is freaking amazing, Joe. If you can get real close into some of that base detail,
the grain in the wood is so good.
Shaded real nice. His lightning special effect is really, really good. Sculpt, hair on the chest, very detailed. The improvement I think we can make to Blanca is if you look, it's kind of like he's got a wig kind of there.
Yeah, it's just that what they're going to do is they're going to shave down the inside just to make sure that it fits closer to the head to make it look like he's actually grown the hair and not bought the hair.
Yeah, exactly.
No weaves for Blanca.
But other than that, Blanca is really freaking good. So we'll just go ahead and make that fit tighter on Blanca. Next up, we've got Fey Long, and he is looking really, really good. He's got some nice muscle shading on him. He's doing his flying kick here. We've got a little bit of a flame effect going on that. He's flying through the air, and he's even on his level, as you can see a little bit, a piece of that that stage there, Joe. And as you look at these, Joe, are you pretty far? I can't tell. Are you far away from it? Are you zooming in?
Pretty close.
Center? Okay, cool. All right, so let me see if he was one of the faces. Yeah, he's a good face. He's one of the good faces. We can make improvements on that. I'm not sure how close you can get in on that, but that's one of those. Okay, this one actually came to us warped and bent. Your miniatures will come packed, the way they need to, so they'll stay in shape.
Yeah, she's got a little smush in the package, so she's not
And she
leaning
came
as
in
much.
one of these.
Yeah, so she will be standing up straight, and then in the container, like you mentioned, there is the plastic that's kind of holding them in place, so no one's going to get smushed.
But other than that, a fantastic model. This one really came out really well, extremely detailed. I love the contrast in color. She's looking great. We are going to make improvements to her face. Again, with all of these, you'll see the new faces here at the end of the video. Yeah. They'll all be improved. But we even got detail, her logo over here. Everything is looking good. And this is one of the better models. We just got to make sure we can even give some added support, I think, to her leg in order to ensure that doesn't happen. Okay, so next up we've got Guy. Guy, again, is one of those that's leaning a little bit from the package. He came in one of these plastic bags. Now, guess what he's doing? He's doing a bit of a tatsu. He's got his own version of it. So it's quite an elaborate effect. Something that's really different looking. We wanted to give him something dynamic. I mean, we literally could have had him just standing there looking at you, but I wanted to get at least some tatsus in here. We were able to get that in Guy and Violent Ken, who is up next. So Violent Ken is another one of those where the lines on his hair, I wasn't happy with that. I want to try to make it look like he has less of a wig. And they say they can fix that.
That's just an easy fix. Yeah, they mentioned it's just a matter of just making sure that it fits on closer, and then it shouldn't be a problem.
And if you look at the base detail here, Joe, get in close on that. It looks great. He's got a bit of a psycho power. If you look at the back, it's almost like his psycho power is sprouting wings. Violent Ken is one of the difficult ones. He kind of looks the way he looks, because Capcom has approved this particular model type. There's the Afro version of Violent Ken, so we could have gone with that one. But we gave more of a stylized kind of spiky hair look to the Violent Ken, doing the Tatsu, because the Tatsu is such a famous pose. We wanted to get some Tatsus in there. So he's looking good. And, next up, we got Sakura. Sakura has one of my favorite bases. You see she's got her backpack on there, some various flower designs, a bit like she's, going to the dojo or just out there. Don't look at Sakura's face. We're approving Sakura's face again.
Yeah, that's the old one,
the old one. She's got a little bit of a lean to her, but that will be gone when it's packed with your miniature. But Sakura's looking pretty sweet. I enjoy her sculpt and her mold. Yeah. So moving right along here, we got Ibuki.
My favorite base. This one is so good. I mean, just look at that. I mean, you got Don-chan on there. You got Ibuki. It's just it's incredible. This one I'm really happy with.
You got the special effects. She's throwing her sort of kunai or ninja stars kind of thing, and she's got a little bit of an air effect going, jumping from the top of a dojo in unison, in pose. Don-chan. It's just one of our best models.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I really like her. And again, some improvements will be tweaked and improved on the face there. Here we have Cody. Cody was several things. Originally I think they thought that these were gold bars.
Yeah, not bars.
No, we told him no, these are bricks. He just broke out of prison, so we got to get these gold bars changed up. Also, I think we can get a little bit more detail on the knife. Go ahead and go with a little bit of a silver effect. Maybe the same thing for the handcuffs that he's still wearing. Face looks pretty good on Cody, so we'll continue with the improvements there. And then, of course, he's wearing his prison jumpsuit. I wanted to try to find a way. This is one of those that they told us that they don't know how to do it. It is sort of try to improve the look of the prison outfit. And it's just the way those colors clash. But we'll keep at it and see if we can get a little bit better model on the outfit itself. But the actual model, looking good, little bit of shading and base detail. Cody is turning out really nicely. Another one that's real nice, and again, these were shipped in plastic bags, so she's standing a little bit on a little bit leaning. But you have here Sea Viper. Yeah. Viper, we wanted to give her one of her flame boot kick attacks, so you could see that the flames are coming off real nicely off the model. Joe, let me know if I'm spinning these way too fast.
No, you good.
And I'm ruining your focus. Sorry about that.
Turn a little bit slower.
Okay, turn a little slower. So as you can see, we got a lot of detail in here. We even got a little bit of a tie. I'm wondering if I can have her tie pop a little bit more on her chest.
Yeah, just one extra wash on there. They'll be able to pop that out. Because it is raised in there, so it's just a matter of putting an additional layer of wash on there. But
we're real proud of the fact that she's got the transparent glasses. That was something that we wanted to make sure and add and really get a lot of nice special effects and really make these miniatures pop. Okay, next is Nakali. Nakali, again, is one of these sort of very powerful sort of demon-like effects. So we've got his special effects popping up around him. His hair is doing this insane, crazy thing. He's got the glowing eyes and everything. The V on his face. Very intimidating model. And if you look here, we gave him sort of that like a Mayan, an ancient design on his base. To match some of his theme here. But he's looking really, really good. Another one of those impressive models. Evil Ryu. So we have a bunch of changes for Evil Ryu. Evil Ryu's face needs a lot of improvement. I can get some detail in his heart here. We're going to go ahead and have that improved. But other than that, he's looking pretty good. You've got some detail in the gloves and in the base. And he is also having that swirling special effect that sort of reminds you of the Dark Hado that Akuma is having. So I can't wait to have a battle between these two, or a battle between, Violent Ken and Evil Ryu. Should be pretty fun to do. Lots of different combinations, of course, that you can do in our game. Okay, moving right along. Got to keep this going. One of our best models. This one.
It came out like they first try. We loved it. There's like
First
one
try.
tweak to it, but it was just so good.
A small tweak that we can make, but it is this Rashid is like 100%. It's so perfect to me. Try to rotate him a little slower to you. You got the color on his effect, looks so great. The detail in his face. You've got the little module that he looks through, and his backpack is looking good. And if you don't know what the base is, it is a plane, piece of the plane. Yeah. So if you look at Rashid, is just so basically, if I can get all my models, which is what we're aiming, all models at Rashid's level, will be super, super happy. And like I said, something like Blanca's like real close, just make that hair. And we're still tweaking all these things to make them perfect for you guys, because you got to get it done right the first time. T-Hawk's looking really good. We got some good detail in his face. This is one of those faces that comes out all right, from China. We can make improvements to it, so I'm looking at it. Now, I looked at his recent eye improvements, and this is one where I'm a little confused because the eye detail, I'm about to show you a picture. His pupils grew quite a bit, and I'm showing you this picture now, versus his normal face, or his face that they originally did from the original STL file. It's actually better here. So we're probably going to keep that and tweak this particular version. But as you can see, he's lifting up like a hawk, just soaring through the air, and he's looking strong and buff, just as
huge.
As he should. As he should. Okay, I gotta show you one of the most impressive models. This is a special for you Kickstarter stretch goal for those that backed and was a part of the stretch goals. Here is Bison version of Cammy. She is so damn awesome, detailed. Got the psycho power, got this awesome flowing cape to her, and she's looking really good. And we're gonna make sure that everything is insured so that she doesn't bend or warp, but she's looking very good. And another one of those that pretty much came out 100%. So really happy with her. An impressive table piece, especially going up against one of our Bison himself. So I can't wait to get these two on the table, maybe do some team up battles or something like that. It's gonna be pretty sweet. Sorry, I'll hold them still.
Just move them real
quick. I'm just going crazy, man. All right. And then, I don't know why I showed you Bison Cammy first. I got to show you normal Cammy first. So Cammy's good. Cammy is going to need improvements to her face. Yeah. We need to bring out the detail in her teeth, and her face. So don't pay too much attention to her face. Her hat needs a little symbol right here. It looks like they missed that on the model. Yes, they missed that on the model. But other than that, special effect is good. The ground detail is good. The detail on her model is good. The pose, obviously, she's doing a little bit of a cannon strike, and hitting the ground as if she was just coming down from the air. Cammy is looking sweet. Cammy's one of my favorites. So I'm going to make sure that Cammy's absolutely perfect. She's not quite there, but she's very close. So we'll fix her face. Now, I showed you all these good ones, but there are some bad ones. Okay. I don't
It's a placeholder. This wasn't our face.
I don't think you should ever look at his face.
I'm zooming in.
No. Okay. All right. I tell you what. Since we showed you Laura's face, we'll show you Guile's face. Guys, this is why it's taking a little bit, because I am not going to let things go out the door like this. You've got Derpy Guile, Sonic Boom, or you come up with how he would say Sonic Boom, right? It's not there. But luckily, I said, what the heck, this is not acceptable, and let's improve the face. And so we've had 2 iterations of the face. The second one, I'm going to put up a picture right here. As you can see, it is much better. This is looking really good.
This is what happened. So they didn't have the file. This isn't something that we gave them the file and this is what they made. They're like, hey, the file didn't show up. We're going to put a placeholder.
Correct.
So
this was a placeholder face.
Yeah, so it was never supposed to look production ready. So just keep that in mind. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's always watching every corner, though.
Yeah.
On both sides.
You can see everything.
And as I'm going through all these models, and Joe, if you'll look at these, just look at how amazing the special effects are. Everything is looking so good. I started saying, you know what? Some of the original models that we have need a little bit of love. And Gaia was one, and one of the Zangiefs was also another one that I felt just needed a little extra something, if I can find them here. Yeah, so if you look at their bases, I just think it's a little plain. Now, these guys are military men, you know, Zangief is a wrestler, Gaia's a military man. They don't like a lot of flash, right? But what I'm actually going to do is I've asked to put one of Gaio's logos here. Okay. So we'll put like an Air Force Base kind of logo from Street Fighter 4 onto the base. And I'm going to see about getting a custom logo done with Capcom's approval to put on Zangief's base. And there we had one over here. This just is an example of approvals going back and forth. There, I guess I'd rather not show you, but there was an original design that was not approved, and so we had to go with something a little more simple. But I think I can spice it up and put a logo there, put a logo there. So that's what we're gonna do. And same thing with, I don't know, we spoke about this in the last video, Goken. And I just spoke with my guy on the phone to try to get some special effects for Goken. We think, Goken deserves, since he's a boss, to have some special effects. So if we look to Evil Ryu, if we look to Akuma, even if we look to Ryu, we can get some of those special effects on Goken. Because I think Goken needs a little bit of love after looking at every single miniature. And that is the benefit of going, taking our time, making sure that these miniatures match what we've produced and just really impressing the pants off you. So a lot of talking, but there's a lot of miniatures to go through your miniatures. So those were what we're doing. We've already included the revisions for the last video that you saw. They have them done and they're ready to send them over. And now we just got these and we already sent back feedback for those. So they're currently working on those. Then all those faces that we need revised, they've been revised and now they're starting to send them to us. So let me show you, come back on in here for the, actually before that, let me do some updates, because remember when I said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we can get some detail on Q? And they said, yeah, no problem. We're going back and forth. It takes a few days and weeks. That's why these things happen. So here is an example of a shaded hat, a shaded coat, and I think it looks better. And I think it actually brings out a little bit more personality, a little bit more detail. I don't know if you can kind of see there. Yes, the colors will be corrected. This is just simply for the shading, and I think it is better. Another thing we said is that her skin, Armika's skin, needs a little bit of love. Whereas Armika, yeah, she's kind of like a fluorescent.
Karen, yeah.
Karen, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they just did the wrong shade.
So here is a different shade. That don't look at the color, but you can see it's a different shade, and it's a little bit more realistic sort of skin tone color, which will apply some more on top of that. So they're sending sort of prototypes. Another thing that we looked at was, what about shading and on the different gis? So we're talking Ryu, we're talking Ken, we're talking Dan, and I have those different versions right here. And we did this, we had to create a new process, this numerical process. This is a 25% shade, this is a 50% shade, this is a 100% shade, 75% shade, and they all have different amounts. If you look here, the 25% outright too dirty.
Yeah, he's been rolling.
So I was able to eliminate 25%. That's not it. For Ryu, 50%, while he is a wandering warrior and he does get dirty, I think it's still a little too much. And what we found is 75 is pretty spot on. You can even get away with 100. To an untrained eye, the difference between the 75 and 100 is very, very minute. And you'll see that here on the finished model. So let's look at our finished models for the eyes, face, and face. Okay, so we've got 6 completed faces from the factory. Let's start with the more impressive ones, Chun-Li. Okay, this is the Chun-Li that you saw in the last video. Her face, very Not good. Not good, so to speak. This was the placeholder face, but they did their best based off of the STL. Now here we have the improved face. Now, Joe, I really want you to get this in detail. I want, if the camera can focus, and you can definitely see that improvement. So
you can definitely tell.
Thank you. It was worth the wait. It's something that we have been working on. And I also asked them to change the color of the special effect because the special effect was just a little too light. So we got it a little bit more pronounced here. But with this model, it was more about fixing the face than rather getting that color correct, because I think the best blue is actually this blue. So as you can see, the improvement to the face, and that will be what we go to production with on that, with the improved base and the improved color. So I wanted Chun-Li about as best as you can get her, because she's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. So she's gonna get a lot of love. Same with Ryu. You gotta get Ryu right. He's big, he's huge. So with this Ryu, you're seeing no shading. This is the one that we showed you before with a little bit of a goofy face. Okay, and add a little bit light color to the special effect. If you notice, by adding a darker special effect color, it really makes him pop. It gives good contrast to him. Also, this is a 75% shade on the gi, and I like it. It really brings out the detail. It shows you, man, this guy is a warrior. He walks around, goes around, gets in fights, and constantly tries to improve himself. Now, if we can get a little bit of detail on the face here, you can see the difference, all right? And I could probably take some closer up pictures that I can put up on the screen. But in this new process, there is still small adjustments we can make. I feel his headband, for some reason, lost a little bit of the red. I want to ensure that his headband is going to be perfect. And that one of his irises, could be adjusted to be a little bit better. But that's basically the improvement on the Ryu face. And hopefully Joe's got this. It's really difficult. You guys can examine these things when you get them, but all right. So Vega was an experiment with some of the decals on the eyes. Honestly, the previous Vega eyes are actually better, so we're going to use this version. So everything is a case-by-case basis on these, and that's why this process takes a while. Also, I didn't like sort of this caramelized color on here, so I had them do this color, and I think it's a good improvement. So you'll get a mixture of that, the improved face, the improved special effect on Vega with the, and remember we were talking about making the claws silver, and that's the kind of thing that you can see on Cody when he's done. So that's Vega. Now, so we've got Ken here. This is sort of the finalized face for Ken, but I think we can do better. I think what's happening with him is, it's making it look like his gums are a little, I don't know how to describe it, but his teeth need to be a little bit more prominent. I'm going to show a picture here that I took previously of Ken, and you can definitely see that the face has improved. And then also, if you look here, the shading on the gis. So this is a 50% shade on Ken, and I actually like it. You like the shading on Ken?
Yeah, I'd say you have to go a little bit darker with the shading on the darker gis because it's a darker color. You need a different contrast. But if you went that color shading, so this is like one of the new processes we're talking about. Most of the manufacturers saying, "Oh, you want what percent shading? We're going to do it for all of your minis," and you just can't do that because if you did that color shading on a white gi, it looked like he was just sleeping in a gutter at night. And so I think that we're just making little bits of improvement every single step. So I like that you can actually see the creases in the gi. It doesn't look like this is just right out of, the laundry or like right off the rack. So
So that is Ken's improved face. With Sagat's improved face, initially, because my eyes aren't very good, when I picked him up, I thought that his pupil was literally on the side of his eye, looking that way. But if you were able to literally look, and we're talking minuscule, millimeter, it's so minute that what it is it's actually mascara that is curling upward.
Which is a shadow in the corner of his eye. Yeah.
But what it does make it look like is that he's got a pupil on the shadow of his eye. It's a little bit of an optical effect. So what we're going to have to do is make that placement, that sticker, a little bit bigger so that the whiteness of his eye, because his eye is literally white, needs to be bigger and fit that eye socket a little bit better. So unfortunately, it is a grueling process. But to get these miniatures at the level that they need to be, which is what I want, like statue quality miniatures, each one of these, like $100 statue that you would buy off the shelf, we've created all these new processes, and that's what takes so long. One last one. Don't want to, this is not a good one. So come on down here, and you can see that Zangief needs a little bit of work. I think Zangief he came out googly eye. This is the improved face Zangief, and he came out googly eye. If I can find one of the older Zangiefs, which one is he? Number 2, brush. I think that's the older Zangief. So, Joe, are you able to sort of see the face? Should I leave it alone? Hold it. So I think this eye looks a little bit larger than the other, and it might be sort of the black around the eye. So we've got to be careful with placement, with sizing, when we apply these, very, very detailed stickers onto the face. And so Zangief is definitely one that we are going to improve. This was sort of the prototype, and that's why his look is a little bit bigger and a little bit, different. So, yeah. Whoo! Basically, trucking along here, but we've got every single model now sculpted, finalized in the sculpt. It's now a matter of colors. It's now a matter of improving the faces to the highest quality degree, and then making sure that any, what would you call it? There's a technical term for it. Creases in the miniatures, molding lines are very flush, and see if we can get any improvements in there. But by the time you guys get these, you're gonna blow away anybody who walks by the table. They're gonna be so jealous. They're gonna be like, where did you get all these? And especially for the price that you got them. I am so proud of all these different miniatures. And trust me, guys, like, the reason why it takes so long is because they're like, Joey, if you want these to deliver now and go, you better hit the button, let's go.
Yeah, you get faces like that.
And I'm like, no, it's not acceptable to me. Not only is it not at that level, but, I still have all these other ones. I have Capcom approvals because it's not my IP. I show every single one of these pieces. I have to send to Japan, and I have to wait for them to get back to me and say whether this is approved or change that. And then we get this, and then we get it back, and then we go into production. So that's why it's taken so long. And unfortunately, I do have, a bit of a bad news, because we're going back and forth on the process, and because I want to make sure these miniatures is as best as possible. It looks like, although we're going to be able to get production started here in this year, that we're going to hit the dreaded Chinese New Year.
Yeah, it may delay things about a month or so. So we'll just have to see what ends up happening, because there's a lot of back and forth. I don't want to. We're not going to give you a specific date. But everything's. We're not trying to rush through these things. We want to make sure that everything is the way that it should be. But
I was really mad about that, because Chinese New Year, if you don't know, they literally shut everything down. Like, they go home and there's no factory, the lights are off, and I'm like, no! So I was doing the best that I can to avoid Chinese New Year, but I think it's more important to get these right the first time.
Well, and that's just, you can be upset, and but it's like some things are just kind of out of our hands. Like, things have to be approved. These are, this is not, we didn't design these characters, and the people that own them have to make sure that we are, making something that lives up to, how iconic Street Fighter is. And so that makes sense.
As much as I'd like to hit the button right now, I can't. So just know that we're working and improving it every day, and we're going to constantly bring you update videos. So this was I was going to make one in, September, but I wanted to wait for these improved faces. So now we have a flow. I'm getting new miniatures every 3 weeks. So what you're going to see here is an update in November. You're going to get an update in December and going forward. And we're going to actually start playing with the games. I want to play with finished prototypes, right?
Everything.
Finished cars, finished everything. And we have some of those things, but we're going to wait until we get those final production prototypes and start to make some gameplay videos for you guys. Otherwise, there are some gameplays on the Kickstarter right now if you want to check those out. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Know that we are doing absolutely the best job that we can to bring you the best game. And yes, it's late, but it is my first game, and I just want to make sure it's good when it comes out, and I think that's the most important thing. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on next month's episode of the Design Corner. Bye, guys.